All right, welcome back to Sports Talk with Dylan Marsh, and this is a non-college football podcast for the first time in a very long time. As always, I'm joined with JD, my brother, and also a new guest on the show, Garrett Factor, a good friend of ours for a very long time, who also knows his sports knowledge. So let's go ahead and get started. And how about that game against the Broncos and Chiefs the other day? The crazy ending with the field goal off the goalpost and it ends up going in, and the Chiefs beating the Broncos. Probably one of the craziest games of the year. And Garrett, you said you were really interested in that game. What stood out to you in that football game?
Well, I think the main thing that stood out to me was Tyreek Hill. I mean, I know that's pretty obvious to say, but Gale Sanders, I think, is the only one that's ever had a receiving, rushing, and return touchdown all in one game.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive to me.
And I went ahead and picked up Tyreek Hill in my fantasy league.
Same here.
Just in case. But, yes, he had a hell of a football game, just very impressive. Definitely helped lift the Chiefs over that crazy Broncos defense, who are now 7-4 on the season and are not in the playoff right now. They're in the hunt. They're not even in the wild card because that's what the Chiefs have, as the Raiders are leading that division.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jay, we'll go to you. What stood out to you in that football game?
Like Garrett, Tyreek Hill, but I think a major difference is the fact how well the Chiefs defense played Justin Houston in that atmosphere up in Denver. Not being able, it's very hard to breathe up there with the air being so thin, and how well he just performed was the huge difference on that defense. And honestly, that is what I believe, other than Tyreek Hill, that was my biggest X factor.
Yeah, I mean, even you see guys like Von Miller who play there for a living, even on the sidelines, when the Denver's offense is on the field with their air masks on, because that air is so tough to breathe. And even Justin Houston got injured there for a little while. I'm not sure what the injury was. I think it was his hand maybe, but he came right back in. He was determined to play. And
did y'all notice that mask he was wearing in the pregame where it made it harder for him to breathe?
Yeah, the Marshawn mask. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's pretty awesome.
The thing that stood out to me was on the losing team, and that's Denver quarterback Trevor Siemian. As I was talking to Lewis Flanagan, an interview I had with him, also you'll see it on this YouTube page, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're talking about Tony Romo and if he would get traded and to Denver possibly be in a spot. And I said no, because Trevor Siemian is slowly developing to be a pretty decent quarterback. In this game, you see it, 368 yards and 3 touchdowns against a not too shabby Chiefs defense.
Yeah.
So that's what stood out to me. Siemian really starting to develop as a great quarterback, and a quarterback that John Elway likes. And John Elway is a smart dude. You know he's helping with that transition for Trevor Siemian. So that's what stood out to me. So let's stay in NFL, but let's go ahead and move on. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about Tom Brady.
Ooh.
JD, this is really close to you. You love the Patriots. You love Tom Brady, right?
Yep.
Even you love Gronk more.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. But
I don't know. I like Edel's grit he's got going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Edelman's
but
got some grit.
My question for y'all is, a lot of people, there's a big debate about this, because it's kind of hard to, just like basketball, it's kind of hard to factor in on this. Is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football? I'll let JD go first.
I believe he is, because if you go back to when Montana was playing, and even Elway and all the great quarterbacks, Namath, they weren't passing the ball 80% of the time. The pass formations and the plays he's created have just become so unique, and it's a lot harder to pass in this NFL day, in my opinion, with the different coverages there are, with blitzes coming at your face. And I believe that if you go back and look at the stats, Elway and Montana, they weren't completing over 70% of their passes. Brady's completing at least 75% of his passes, and he is 2 lucky catches away in Super Bowls from being 6-0.
Exactly. That's the point I was going to bring up. He's 4-time Super Bowl winner, 6-time Super Bowl appearances. And like you said, he's 63.7% of his passes have been completed over his whole career, which has been 16 years. So that's I did not do the fact check on this one, but I think that's probably around the top ever, like one of the best ever, and also 60,000 yards and 446 touchdowns.
Another one in 2008, coming off that one-loss season to the Giants in the Super Bowl. I believe the Patriots were even stronger that year than they were in 2007 because they had everybody back, more experience, more chemistry around that team. And if Brady wouldn't have gone down with that torn ACL, they probably could have gone undefeated again and would have finished it up.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to bring up too, because a lot of the Patriot haters out there will always say that Tom Brady's just a system quarterback because of the success that Garoppolo, for example, had at the beginning of the year. But I don't really agree with that because. Like you said, when he went down with that ACL injury, they put Matt Castle, right?
Even though they went 11-5,
but Matt Castle couldn't have taken them to the Super Bowl. Like
they didn't even make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, he would not have lasted in the playoffs like Tom Brady will.
No.
And
yeah, like you said, system quarterback definitely out of the question now because Garoppolo, what was it? The first 2 games he did pretty well. They won, and then whenever what is it? What was his name?
Brisket.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that's right. I called him Brisket. That's it. Brisket. Jacoby Brisket. And he had a great game, but everyone was thinking he was a great player all because he had a great touchdown run.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. No one knew who Jacoby Brissett really was unless you paid attention to college football.
Yeah, and he did well for a rookie going into the Patriots offense and stepping in, but that also has a lot to do with Belichick because he's just the
another
greatest
thing
coach.
Is whenever you watch the Patriots without Tom Brady, it isn't even opened up, I believe, 15% of the playbook.
Yeah, no.
It's just all dump-off passes. You might see 2 passes past 20 yards.
Well, they're not going to let a rookie throw the ball downfield like they would with Tom, but that's like you said, LeGarrette Blount was going off those first 3 or 4 games.
And also, I believe it's because another reason what's helped out Tom Brady all these years is that defense has just been consistently good and not putting him in bad spots.
Yeah,
exactly.
People always make such a big deal about Belichick always trading away his draft picks and trading away these defensive guys, but he still finds a way to bring these undrafted rookies and these 7th and 8th round guys in, and I mean that defense is incredible.
I really don't think Matt Patricia gets enough credit.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't. I mean,
But this is a thing too. Like I think Belichick is starting to get enough credit. But with people like I was listening to Colin Cowherd a couple months ago, and he was talking about how in college, basketball and football, the head coach is the main that's like the main thing. Like you have to have a great coach to succeed in college. But then he was comparing it to the NBA, saying the NBA is all about the players. Then he also said that's kind of the same thing about the NFL. But if you look at all 31 other teams, that's kind of how it is. But then when you go to the Patriots, you have a coach like Belichick, like JD said, who kicks off his best linebacker in Jamie Collins because Jamie Collins wanted more money. He basically said, no, goodbye. And look at them. They did not lose a step on that defense.
Nope.
It comes from just knowing who to draft, knowing where to put people. I think he is the exception for the fact of knowing you have to have a great coach in the NFL to win or to go to 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Because you had a Ben Roethlisberger, someone that big, athletic, like a Michael Vick. Those are the people everyone wants in the NFL draft. If the Patriots didn't take Tom Brady, he would not have been drafted.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And that's just he just has the lack of finding people who are going to be great. Who was going to draft Julian Edelman because he was a quarterback in college?
Belichick knew what to do with him.
Exactly.
He knew what to do with him.
And getting Danny Amendola. Yes, he was a big name free agent, but he's not big. He's not like a Brandon Marshall. He's not like a Calvin Johnson.
They love those gritty guys.
Exactly. They love it. He loves to go down in a draft because he knows those are the people who are willing to prove themselves.
Yep.
So that's why I think he's such a great coach. He's a great motivator. He gives the people the opportunities that they really want.
Okay, so since we're asking if Brady's the greatest quarterback ever, would y'all agree with me that Belichick has surpassed Lombardi as the greatest NFL coach of all time? If he wins another Super Bowl this year.
That's harder to compare than players.
How many does Lombardi have?
He won 2 in a row, the first 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Does he have 5?
Yeah, I think he has
so.
5.
I think that's it. Yeah.
But that's harder to compare because of the style of play, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a lot.
It's completely different.
It's
but
different, but
But think about this. Belichick's old school.
Yes,
He's definitely
exactly.
old school,
Yeah.
but he still adjusts to the way the game
yeah.
is played today.
Yes.
And that's what makes him so great. I don't know if Lombardi was to – I mean, I think Lombardi, if he was to coach in today's game, he would be able to adjust, but I don't know if anyone can adjust like Bill Belichick can. I mean, his overall strategies on
how great of a
offense.
Super
And,
Bowl would that be, Lombardi versus Belichick?
yeah, that'd be a pretty daggum good one. That'd be a pretty good one.
All right. So Tom Brady, well, the reason I brought that up is because he's now tied with Peyton Manning for the most all-time wins with 200.
200, right? Yep.
And he struggled to get that one, but he had an injured leg where he came back, and I think that's what he really wanted. Tom Brady's the type of dude. He says these accomplishments don't mean too much without a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you know it meant a lot to him, especially in this year, because of only not playing in the whole month of September, and just getting that accomplishment is great for him. But we all know what's on his mind. But that was a hard fought game. I was very happy he got that win because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
But
very good.
all right, so y'all got something else to say about that before we
I'm
move on?
good.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is that those AFC East games are always really difficult. Whether they're playing, and especially with the Dolphins right now, when do they play?
They played last week of the season.
Yeah, that's going to be the Patriots are going to be good by then, but if the Dolphins keep winning, that's going to be a big one because they could still get in and make a wild card run. And those AFC East games, whether the Jets are 3-8 or whatever, they're
still
still
gonna put up a fight.
they're still going to put up a fight because they know what those games against the Patriots mean because no one comes close to the Patriots in that division.
Exactly. Hey, Zach, go ahead and put the TV onto the Browns schedule. So
I can already
Stupid
give you
low.
this
So
answer.
okay, yeah, just leave it right there. Go back. Okay.
Leonard
My
Fournette.
question, yes. My question is, do y'all think? We'll start with Garrett on this one.
Okay.
We'll go around this way. Do you think the Cleveland Browns are going to win a game this year?
Let me
With
look at this schedule.
They got the schedule left. They have the Bengals at home. Then they have the Bills on the road, the Chargers on Christmas Eve at home, and then at the Steelers to end the season.
I think the only game that they have a chance winning is the Chargers, and that's only because I think the Chargers' defense is a little weak, and I think that those young guys for Cleveland's offense, like Corey Coleman, Duke Johnson, they're starting to step it up a little.
Yes.
And I think they could have a chance. Is McCown coming back? Or is he? Are
It's
they?
Cody Kessler.
Yeah,
Cody
I knew
Kessler
that.
started last game, so
I
he's going
think-
to probably start the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I think Cody Kessler only threw 1 touchdown last week, and it was to Corey Coleman. But I think if they can get Corey Coleman a lot more involved than he is right now, and obviously Terrell Pryor's doing extremely well for
Yes.
them, as well as he can in that offense. But
My question, I had a thought in my head. If another Browns quarterback got injured,
Terrell Pryor's
Terrell Pryor go
he's
out?
coming in to save the day, man.
Exactly.
He's coming in to save the day.
RG3 could be back to play the New Year's Eve game against the Chargers.
I feel bad for him and all the injuries that have
Exactly.
happened, but I don't think that I think if Kessler, if they beat the Bengals and if they put up a good game against that Bills defense, I don't think you bring in RG3. I think you leave Kessler in.
Exactly. I think they're going to win one game. I think
Yeah.
they're going to beat the Chargers on Christmas Eve because it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It's a midday game, and you see how much it means to them to win a game. This past week, their head coach teared up in a press conference
Yeah.
because he's guaranteed a win, and it's getting smaller and smaller for the possibility to get a win. And so I think, like Garrett said, the Chargers defense is kind of a joke. The only good thing that they really have after they lost Eric Weedle is now Joey Bosa.
Yeah,
He was
he's doing
actually
pretty well.
tearing it up as a rookie after being the biggest baby about his contract in the world. But
Well, they've got Melvin Ingram too.
Yeah,
and
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Ingram on defense.
yeah,
He's a linebacker.
yes,
Oh,
He's pretty good.
Yes.
But
I
yeah,
think
I like Hugh Jackson a lot. I think I've heard some rumors. I think they'll bring him back next year because
Yeah.
I think he can.
The
I think he can bring them up.
the Browns have been very good at giving coaches chances.
Right.
And
And quarterbacks.
They give them back. Yeah, no, quarterbacks not well. They always injure themselves. But
Yeah, well, what have they had, like 16 in the last 16 years?
24.
24
starting quarterbacks in the past 16 years. But
Solid.
so
Johnny
I
did
think the Browns are finally going to win a football game until they get tore up by the Raiders in the last game.
Give
of the
those
season.
Browns fans a Christmas present, please.
Exactly.
Hugh Jackson, please.
You know, they're not going to the
Actually-
Super Bowl. The Browns aren't going to the Super Bowl, and all, but you
not
know,
this year.
But all right, Jay. So I think I know what you're going to say about this.
I don't believe they're going to win a game, but if they are, you might call me crazy on this, but I think it's going to be the last game of the season on the road at Pittsburgh
Wow.
because of all the drama that's going on between Antonio Brown, not with the reports of him not being happy. I just believe that might throw off a little bit of chemistry with that offense, but honestly, I just don't see the Browns winning a game at all this year.
It's gonna be tough for them not to, but also tough for them to win.
Yeah.
I guess it's just. Oh God, the Cleveland.
I think
Cleveland.
yeah, like
This
I
is for you.
like I said, man, they gotta bring these Browns fans a Christmas present, something, man.
Well, hey, they got a championship and they got a World Series appearance.
Yeah.
They're okay for a little bit. They got that bought the Browns some time. It really did. So, all right, before we get off the NFL subject, I want to hear who do you think right now deserves, what the heck just happened? Who do you think deserves the MVP right now? Let's go with JD.
That was just, honestly, I think that everything with what Brady's been doing this year has just been expected. So I'm not going to go Brady. I think that the voters are going to look for somebody new. And
The voters are getting tired of Tom Brady winning MVP.
Yeah, like LeBron, they're getting tired of voting for LeBron.
so I think that it's going to be between the two rookies in Dallas right now.
Well,
And
okay.
it'd be Zeke, in my opinion, right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that too. I would say David Johnson. I think David Johnson
But-
has a really good chance. He has more receiving yards than Brandon Marshall and DeAndre Hopkins right now.
I see where you're coming from, but in an MVP voting system, it's all about if your team's winning. Because last year, whenever the reports came out of Cam Newton being the lead of the MVP voting last year, he had the same completion percentage as Colin Kaepernick.
All right.
Yeah.
Whenever
What about-
Kaepernick got benched.
What about Derek Carr?
Yeah,
he
I
is
like
another
Carr,
one.
Okay. Well, I got some stats that I wanted to talk about. You're talking about Dak and Zeke. And I was talking to my friend Louis Flanagan, like I mentioned earlier, today in an interview with him, talking about how is it going to be the Rookie of the Year or the MVP? Because, he says he doesn't think that can be, be both.
Yeah, I was
Or-
going to say, has anyone ever won both? I don't think so.
No rookie has ever won MVP. And, I brought up the fact that, if they could do a group MVP, I brought up the fact of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line winning the MVP because
Yeah.
they would not be who they are without that. And
Definitely not.
so, but sorry, I lost track. So I lost some whatever the heck I was talking about. But I'm going to say right now that I like JD's point about Ezekiel Elliott winning. It's very hard to think a rookie would win MVP, but with the year he's having, with
What are his numbers?
his numbers right now are absolutely insane. If I could ever find them, there they are. See, he's got 243 attempts already, which if they continue what Jerry Jones said they're not going to reduce his workload as of now, because they have not clinched a playoff spot. But if they average that to where he will have over 340 carries on a year, which is a lot of mileage. But yes, he is a 22 years old. 22 years
Yeah,
old.
I don't even think. I think he's like 21. Yeah.
And he's running over people, hurdling over people, and if they might tell him to tone it down a little bit to make sure that they have him for the playoffs. But 1,199 yards and 11 touchdowns, 3 fumbles on the year, but he's gone for 71 first downs. 71 times we've
Yeah.
seen.
I mean, he's looking just like DeMarco did that year.
Exactly.
When DeMarco had that year. And I don't even know if DeMarco's numbers, I think DeMarco's numbers may have been a little better than this, but for a rookie, That's insane.
But the one thing about Dak Prescott, what you said, I don't think Dak Prescott is really in the MVP talks because he doesn't have outstanding numbers like Derek Carr or even Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady's only played 7 games. See, Prescott, he's at 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the year, which is insane.
Wow.
With what's his completion rating? His completion rating is 67.9%.
Looking like Tom Brady.
Exactly. He does not make bad decisions.
But he doesn't throw the ball as much as Tom Brady.
Exactly. See, I think that's what makes Dallas team the hardest team to stop. They're so versatile. They stop the run, they're going to throw the ball over you. If you stop the pass, they're going to run. If you stop both, Dak can run.
Yep.
It's hard to stop this offense, especially with Cole Beasley, their leading receiver. The
grit.
Yeah, exactly. When I was at the Cowboys game and I saw him walk into the locker room, underneath all the stuff there at that crazy stadium, he's the most unathletic looking guy I've ever seen.
What's he like, 5'8"?
He's probably about 5'10", maybe 6 foot.
Okay.
He's very short, pretty skinny, but crazy athletic, and he's got 5 touchdowns, 647 yards, a leading receiver on the Cowboys. But if you look at that, the leading receiver only has 58 receptions, 5 touchdowns, 647 yards. That shows how much Dak Prescott spreads the ball around, and that's why the Cowboys are winning because Dez Bryant used to basically kind of demand, not like himself, but it's Dez Bryant, at least 8 targets a game, to where I think he doesn't even get that now.
Yeah, no, he's got a completely different attitude this season because he sees, okay, we're 10-1, we're on a 9-game win streak. We lost our first game by 1 point. We really have a good shot at this. I'm not going to be as selfish as I have been in the past because as long as Dak keeps spreading the ball around, I'm gonna get mine. That has to be what he's thinking. He's gonna get his touchdowns. He's gonna get his targets. But he also has to realize that spreading the ball around opens it up a lot more for him, and Ezekiel opens it up a lot more for him too. They can run the ball first down, second down, get 7 or 8 yards, and then on 3rd and 3, play action, go over the top to him. That's too easy. That's too easy.
Yeah, it really is. And so, okay, I would say
it also doesn't hurt to have a security blanket in Witten.
Well, I would say right now, who'd you say your MVP was? I forgot.
I like Carr too, but I guess I would have to go David Johnson right now just with his numbers because I don't think Carson Palmer's not having a good year.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald's having an old man year. He's a good safety blanket also, but David Johnson is definitely carrying that team for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to say Case Keenum right now for me.
Yeah.
I think Case Keenum
I like that. Jeff Fisher 7-9. He needs to win this weekend to stay on track for 7-9.
Exactly. So, but no, I really think Derek Carr is doing something in Oakland. I think he's the quarterback who's developed the most in the past couple of years. He's, again, just kind of like Dak. He was drafted later on. He was a steal.
Yep.
He was a gem hidden in the dirt, the rough.
Well, and everybody thought about his older brher too, and he's definitely not. He's definitely not David Carr.
Being a Texan fan, his older brother.
Yeah,
I did not like David Carr that much. He was okay. Just didn't do anything for us. But he is definitely a Carr 2.0. And with, Crabtree, Cooper, Latavius Murray, that offensive line, which held the Denver defensive line in check, the Raiders have a good shot at making the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I think they do too.
So I think Derek Carr is my MVP right now.
Yeah, and I like that too. And that defense is helping him out a lot also because without Khalil Mack, that defense really wouldn't be able to do anything. They lost Darren Woodson, they lost Justin Tuck.
You mean Charles Woodson?
Charles Woodson, sorry. Yeah. I like David Carr too.
So who did you say?
Right now, Zeke for me.
Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, yeah, I understand. But the point I'm trying to make to you right now is the Cowboys, they're so good because they're so versatile. They're strong on offense right now because they run the ball so much to keep the ball out of the other offense's hands. And also their defense is a lot better than they were last year. And last year they were very good. It's just they didn't have a quarterback to help them win.
If you look back at their defense from last year, being on the field 80% of the time and giving up no more than 15 points a game, that's amazing to me.
But the point I'm trying to make is, Judy, MVP, most valuable player. Yes, you have to have stats, which Zeke is having.
Okay, yeah. If we look back at talking about last year, if Dallas would have just had a running back to be able to set up the pass.
Yeah,
Think
they would have
about
been a
what-
lot better.
Think about what Dallas would have done.
Because McFadden did
Even though he
okay,
rushed
but
for
he
over
wasn't-
1,000 yards.
Dude broke his elbow trying to save his phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, where's he at now? So
But yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make to you. The most valuable player, and that has to be Derek Carr in my eyes. He's got great stats to win, but then also he's the leader of that team. You know he is.
Yeah.
He played with that nasty finger injury.
yeah, that was bad.
And I think that might have been an MVP moment for him, finishing the game off with that glove on his
Yeah,
hand.
he said that's the most pain he's ever been in.
Yes. So I think I love Derek
Grit.
Carr. Yeah.
Grit.
He's a gritty guy. What can I say?
All right, guys. So, yeah, that wraps up our NFL talk. So, let's go ahead, and before we talk about the NBA and some other things, let's go ahead and let's talk about the coaching carousel right now in college football. I know me and JD have a lot to say about that, and I'm sure Garrett does too. So, let's go ahead and talk about the big name around the country, not around here right now, and that's Tom Herman going to Texas. And my question to y'all is Tom Herman the answer for Texas to finally get back on track like they were with Mac Brown?
Poor Charlie Strong.
I feel bad about him.
He got, I like Charlie Strong, but he kind of got thrown into this mess that Mac Brown left. And I love Mac Brown. I think what he did with that program was incredible. And
Yeah.
he did a very good job. But those last 2 or 3 years, he kind of left a mess for the next guy coming in. And I feel bad for Charlie Strong that he had to come into such a prolific. Just the whole program is, has been incredible over the last decade and a half.
More than that, dude.
Yeah,
More than that.
they've been so good for so long.
It
And
hurts me to say that.
yeah, I know for an
'Cause I
Oklahoma
hate
fan.
Texas,
Yeah,
but yes,
well,
you got to
hey,
give them credit where credit
I'm
is
an
due.
A&M fan, and,
Yeah.
and I would love to be able to play the Texas of these last few years
Yeah.
versus the Texas that we got to play against when we were in the Big 12 because that was not good. But yeah, I think Tom Herman can step in and use some of the defensive recruits that Charlie Strong got because obviously that was his strong suit. Now, if they can keep those defensive recruits and not lose them, and also bring in the offensive guys that Tom Herman can bring in, I think that'll really, that'll really do well for them. And I think that Tom Herman's a very good quarterback coach on the side, and I think that who's that young guy now?
Greg Ward. What are you talking
No,
about,
at
Houston?
Texas.
Oh, Blucher.
Blucher, yeah.
Blucher, whatever
Isn't
it
he a
is.
freshman?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that Tom Herman can come in and really make him something
What's the
special.
thing? He's got
potential.
he's already had something special. Yeah, he's seen
Yeah.
the potential in him.
Yeah.
But like you said, Mac Brown leaving a mess. I think Charlie Strong actually helped Tom Herman transition in because they still have a top 10 recruiting
Yeah.
class
Definitely.
these past 2 years. So basically, their offense was okay, but their weakness definitely was their defense. But they do have a lot of good athletes coming in, not defensive players that can transition into a collegiate defensive player.
Yeah, and
So-
who knows? Maybe some of those guys that were committed to Tom Herman in Houston will say, "Hey, I still want to play for Coach Herman. Let's see if he can get me on at Texas."
Yeah, but okay, before we get to something else, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be something for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State to worry about in the Big 12, at least even just next year?
No.
Really?
No.
Explain there, son.
Texas? No.
Okay.
I'm kidding. But honestly, yeah, I believe he is the answer because if you look at how Houston played for him these past 2 years, the players, he's like Coach O for LSU.
Yeah,
Players love to play for
love
this
him.
guy. And I believe
the energy that he brings.
Yeah.
the recruits A&M is getting, I'm sorry to say this, Garrett, but it's going to bring the glory days back to Texas with the way he recruits.
Everybody said that about Charlie Strong though too.
No,
Everyone thought that because-
I'll go ahead and say this, y'all. I think Herman is 10 times the better recruiter than Charlie Strong is.
We'll see.
Think about the talent he got just in Houston. And with Texas being the most popular university in the state of Texas,
Yeah, but people still want to play in the SEC.
University of
Getting.
Texas.
That's why we're getting all the big recruits.
all I'm
A&M.
saying is I believe he's about to turn this around, and it scares me to live in death as an Oklahoma fan that we have to face that every year. But I also believe that's going to be good for Oklahoma because that's going to step up Bob's game in the recruiting field.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Hopefully.
Maybe he
Jesus
can win a bowl
Christ.
game this year.
Yeah, before I move on to something, we're going to stick in the Big 12, something I'm about to talk about. But the reason, like y'all said, about he's a great recruiter. As I don't know if y'all know this, but he is the type of coach who loves his players. And if you saw anything about how the Houston players reacted to him leaving, they were very pissed.
Yeah.
They were
The
very
man
upset.
kisses
That's what I'm
young
saying. Yeah.
men on his cheek, on their cheeks.
That's-
Who does that?
I was it shows he's a it shows he's a very affectionate person, which is not
Yes.
a bad thing. But that also shows that, if you think about it, a lot, some people don't have a father figure. And if you have a coach like that who will embrace you like that, no matter if you start or anything, because I remember I was watching the Houston-Cincinnati game. I think it was Cincinnati, and it was a Thursday night game, and they're showing him, everyone's walking by him. He gives every single one of them a kiss on the cheek. It sounds weird, but if you think about it, it's a psychological thing for them to know this coach has got their back, even if they play or not.
It's the personal aspect
Yeah,
of
it
it. He
is.
makes them feel
So-
like people and not just
No,
tools
I wasn't.
on
I
his
wasn't.
Exactly.
I was
offense.
just joking about
No,
that.
I
That
know,
is
I
a
know.
very
Yeah.
good psychological benefit. Not trying to get political or anything, but for you to recruit well, you have to go to the, I would say, the more African American.
Okay, shut up, JD. All right.
Field.
Yeah, we'll cut
And
that out.
With
We'll cut
no,
that out.
I'm being
Okay,
serious,
JD. No, we're not getting into that. Like, I'm just saying, with the way he recruits, it doesn't even have to be a certain race or anything. It's just knowing that these players are away from their family, and knowing that I think Texas. What ruined Charlie Strong at Texas was the fact that I think it was the boosters and they brought him in so quickly and paid him so much money and
Yeah,
expected
they
much
they
in
demanded
a short amount of time.
They demanded 11-2 in the first season.
And with that, when that didn't happen, that put so much pressure on him to where they looked at Charlie Strong as like a person to get money and to win.
Yeah.
So when all that pressure dropped on him, that didn't bring the whole where Charlie Strong's thinking of his team as like his family. He's thinking of him as, okay, well, I got to get these players doing something so I can save my
Right.
job.
Yeah.
And so I think Tom Herman, he's going to have that pressure on
No,
him.
he's definitely going to have that pressure.
And-
Anyone that would
but-
step in at
but
the UT
Charlie
program.
Strong was not used to the UT program. Charlie Strong was a graduate assistant from 99 to 2000 at the University of Texas after he graduated from Cal Lutheran. So, he knows how it's run a little bit. He was there for a year or two. And so, with all that being said, when there's going on to... Is there a phone ringing?
Yeah, someone trying to call in.
Okay. But no, I think Tom Herman's going to be great. All right, Jay, I want you to go ahead and start talking about Coach Ogeron. Y'all talk about that while I go see what this ringing noise is.
Ooh, Coach O. These guys would run through a wall for Coach O. These guys love the passion that he brings to this program, and I really think that he can step in and hey, maybe they should leave the interim tag on him because he did pretty well as an interim head coach, and as an official head coach, his record's not too well with USC and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think that it was the right hire, but unless he gets a offensive coordinator in there and change just the culture of it, because since
Is Lane Kiffin the only one that they're really eyeing right now?
honestly, and it hates me to say this, but if Coach O is really smart, he would go after Lincoln Riley of Oklahoma with the offense that they have running up there. In my eyes,
Is he at the end of his contract?
yes, he's coming up on the end of it, and I would go after him because since Saban, LSU has been a run-heavy team. I just think LSU just needs to change the culture of their offense and go to a spread-heavy, and you could still run the ball out of the backfield. Imagine if
I mean,
If-
they have Geist. They have to run the ball.
Imagine this: if LSU had Lincoln Riley as their offensive coordinator, run the same type of offense that Oklahoma runs with Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon, but with Leonard Fournette. And
Well, do you think Leonard's
and-
staying or is Leonard going?
No,
I think
Leonard-
Leonard's gone.
Leonard's gone, but I'm talking about this year. Imagine if they would just had that offense and ran it the same way Oklahoma does with Leonard Fournette and Darius guys.
I mean, yeah, that would have been crazy. I mean, I don't think they. I think they utilized both of those guys as much as possible and maybe as best as they could. But I think Cam Cameron could have done a lot better job with both of those guys.
Also, think about this: instead of Danny Edley starting, put Brandon Harris in his comfort zone in a spread offense, running triple option with
Yeah, but he still can't
read
make a
options.
pass 10
No,
yards
what
down
I'm
the
saying
field.
is because he's in a pro style offense. He's not a pro style quarterback. I've
Yeah.
said it all along. He was just not in the right system. If he would have gone to a TCU or Ohio State, he'd be superstar right now, in my opinion.
Okay, so I asked y'all to talk about LSU. Where'd y'all get off?
We're talking about LSU.
Okay, but like, what are y'all talking about? Because I heard something about
The offensive
talking about the
coordinator. I
offensive
said,
coordinator
imagine
opening.
if LSU would have had Oklahoma's offense coordinator Lincoln Riley and running the same type of offense Oklahoma runs with Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon,
And using
but with
Fournette and Geis.
Fournette and Geis.
Yeah, well, Fournette's gone most likely.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about this year. Imagine if they would have had that this year.
because he's got a chronic ankle injury that's going to require surgery. So I think he's going to go ahead and try
Yeah,
to get
he's-
paid
yeah, he's
before.
done.
Because I'm not
Yeah.
sure his career is going to be long.
He has.
Who knows? He
has
could do something
insurance.
crazy. Yeah,
He has insurance on those legs.
yeah. But with that being said, with the offensive coordinator, and reports are saying that there's a big chance Kiffin's going to leave to come to LSU.
Yeah, no, him and
or
Saban do
he's
not
going
like each
to
other.
leave to go get a head coaching job, and the head coaching job that I'm looking at is Oregon for him.
Yeah.
because
Offensive
they love
mind.
offense.
Yeah.
They hate defense,
Yep.
and that's exactly what Lane Kiffin is. And Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, has come out and already said a couple months ago that he will pay $10 million a year for a head coach because he's 70-something years old. He said, I'm old and I won a championship.
Yep.
So he's willing to put up $10 million a year for a coach to bring a championship to Eugene, Oregon. So
Les Miles
no,
to Oregon.
I say Les Miles to
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
That's
or
what I
Baylor.
was thinking, honestly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was just kidding about Oregon, guys.
okay.
I
Well,
was kidding about
with okay, what were you, I heard y'all talking about Orgeron and LSU saying how he is a motivator and how players love to play for
Yeah,
him.
like I said, they'd run through a wall for that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they love him.
And so, with that being said, I think with Ed Orgeron, if they just signed Dave Aranda to a new 3-year deal, where he'll get paid the highest coordinator in the entire country.
Yeah.
So now I think they still have enough money to make Lane Kiffin to match that to where they'll both be the two highest paid coordinators. So if you have a great defensive mind in Dave Aranda, and then you have Lane Kiffin, who has basically just now modified to the modern era of college
Yeah.
football, Alabama offense, where they're basically unstoppable.
And he just took a freshman quarterback, and now look at Jalen Hurts. You'd have no idea that kid's 18 years old out there leading the number one team in the country.
Exactly. So if you have those two people basically drawn the plays, all Ed Orgeron's got to do is go for it on fourth or no,
And
motivate the
motivate, yeah,
players and
yeah.
recruit.
And unfortunately, I love Coach O, but when you talk about Coach O, you have to also bring in coordinators for him because
Yes.
he's
You
not
saw what happened
a
in Ole Miss.
yeah, and at USC
Yeah,
because
well, at USC, what happened with USC is the same thing that happened in LSU. After Kiffin, after Kiffin got fired, he was the interim coach,
Yeah.
and they only lost 2 games, just like at LSU.
Yeah.
I think he went like 5-6-2 or something.
About
like
the
that.
same, yeah.
Yes, and the players were begging for him to stay.
Yep.
Everybody, like they even held a meeting with the athletic director saying we want Coach O. Then they ended up hiring Steve Sarkisian, and we see how that worked out.
Yeah.
So with that being said, they didn't give him a chance at USC, but for what Orgeron said, he's not country club enough. That's why they didn't hire him.
Yeah.
But now he's from Louisiana. Everyone loves him. Fans love him. Players love him.
Ooh,
athletic
they
director-
love him down there, baby.
Yes, they do. So, and also, whenever the stuff about Tom Herman, the reports of him signing came out, the next day he had a meeting with the athletic director of LSU, Joe Oliva, and he came in with a binder with 22 different tabs, with each tab averaging about 5 pages each.
Tell the truth
talking-
Tuesday.
Basically, basically, he laid out platforms for coaching, how the office is going to be run. He put out everything from how the office is going to be run to how the uniforms are going to be worn. And it blew away Joe Oliva and the decision makers for LSU, and that's why they hired him. I will say he was their third choice because Jimbo Fisher was their first, and he said no.
And Tom
then
Herman, yeah.
Tom Herman asked for more money, and
Yep.
they said, "Well, we already got this guy right here who will take twice as much
Yeah,
less."
I think he's taking $3 million.
$3 million
Yeah.
a year. Tom Herman was asking for $7 million.
Yeah.
So with that, I think LSU did a great job choosing, at least for the players, because they love him down there. But let's stop it there. I think. Okay, you think Kiffin's going to leave Bama? Do you think he'd leave? Do you think he's got his championship and wants to go somewhere else? Because a lot of people say he hates Nick Saban.
I think that if they win this year, which they more than likely will. I think if they win this year, yes, he will. Now, do I think that he goes to LSU? I'm not sure. I think that if he gets another head coaching opportunity, like up at Oregon, he knows how the Pac-12 is. He knows how it's run. He knows the competition he has out on the West Coast. So I think there's more of a chance that he goes to Oregon than the OC at LSU, but I'm not sure. And when you guys are done arguing, we can continue to talk about this.
This boy just took my dang Dr. Pepper. All right, so let's go ahead.
All right, baby.
Let's go ahead and move on to the NBA.
Oh yeah, I didn't answer. Will Kiffin leave?
Oh, sorry, I don't, you drank my freaking Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I think he will. I think there is a good chance with the relationship he has with Coach O, he will leave Bama and go to LSU. But Dylan, we didn't even talk about our Big Ten playoff dilemma.
Well, we did that in the college football podcast. I'm trying to
see what Garrett thinks about it.
All right, so what do you think should happen in the playoff?
Oh man, I was kind of glad I didn't make it here last night for that one.
Just say, do you think if?
Okay, I know there's 4 Big Ten teams in the top 10 right now. I think so. It's Wisconsin versus Penn State for the championship. I think that regardless of who wins that, I think it'll be regardless of who wins that, and if Clemson and Washington lose, which I don't foresee happening.
Yeah.
If both of them lose and they have to choose 2 Big Ten teams, I think that it will be Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Oklahoma. Maybe Oklahoma. I'm still iffy on my number 4, but I think that for the ratings purposes, like we were talking about earlier, JD, I think for the ratings purposes, it will be Alabama versus the number 4, obviously, and then they will have Michigan and Ohio State 2 and 3. And that would be an incredible game because the ratings would shoot through the roof to see another Ohio State and Michigan game. I mean, people would lose their minds to watch that again because that first game was obviously incredible. And in my opinion, that's been the best college football game of this entire season.
Yes, it was.
Other than maybe LSU and Alabama, but I would have liked to see
both games had officiating
the hype for
it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there were a lot of officiating problems. I hope I don't get fined $25,000 for that because I don't have $25,000 to pay. But yeah, I don't know who would go in that 4 spot, but I really don't see Clemson losing to Virginia Tech. I think there's a better chance of Washington losing to Colorado, and then if that's the case, then I still think Michigan gets in over Colorado just because the NCAA is all about making as much money for themselves as they can.
Michigan already beat Colorado this year.
Right.
So head-to-head matchup.
Yeah. And so, therefore, it would be I predict Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
y'all know my podcast or my prediction from the earlier podcast.
Yeah, same here. But the next one, because I hope you come back. This is a great podcast.
Oh,
yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
What we're gonna do next week is we're gonna have a huge discussion on the Heisman, and because Sunday we find out who's going to what bowl and who's going to the playoffs. So speculation is over with. So with that being said, we'll do all that. JD's going to set up a Bowl Mania for everyone who watches the Sports Talk with Bowl Mania. So JD's going to be putting that up. He's going to put it together. We will give you the details on that. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and move on to the NBA. And me being a huge Oklahoma City Thunder fan, living in Oklahoma City for a couple of years, and really growing to the town and loving the Thunder and hating Kevin Durant,
Still salty about that, huh?
I'm very salty about that. So
you still salty about the finals, Garrett?
Oh, shut up, JD. Let's not talk about this, okay? So let's clear this up. Cavs fan. I think he's a Warriors fan.
I'm a Houston Rockets fan, but I'm also a Steph Curry fan. So just like I was with Kobe, I'm gonna root for the team that my favorite player.
I love Curry as a person. Despise him as a player. I'll say that. But my question right now is, because I'm a huge Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and Russell Westbrook tonight just had his 4th straight triple-double of the season, and also just passed LeBron James for, more triple-doubles than LeBron James. This is a dumb question, but this is I'm not using this question as a leader, role. I'm talking just like right now, is he a better all-around player because he's leading a team with less talent? somewhat, and I think, he's not a leader like LeBron. He's not basically controlling that franchise. But that stuff put aside, is he a better all-around player than LeBron James right now? Or is he the best overall player besides LeBron James?
Besides. Other than Kawhi Leonard, in my opinion.
Okay, well,
Or
yeah. Well,
Anthony
Kawhi's known
Davis.
for his defense a lot. And that's something Russell is very underappreciated for.
Right, definitely. But this year, okay, I'll stick with the Westbrook talk before we go to Kawhi. Besides LeBron, yes, I think LeBron is still definitely the best player in the NBA. I still think LeBron is, what's he, 31 now? I still think that he's definitely in his prime. I think Westbrook has, how many years has Westbrook been in the league now? 6. Okay, so I think Westbrook's been in his prime for the last 2 or 3 years, but I think Westbrook's prime will last a lot longer than most players' prime do, and that's besides LeBron, because I think LeBron,
he's been in his prime, honestly,
Kobe,
since 23.
Yeah, I think Kobe was in his prime from 19 all the way until like the last 5 years of his career. But I think that Westbrook is second best in the NBA right now as of today.
Yeah, he's averaging a triple-double right now.
We keep getting calls in, folks. Calm down.
It's something else. It's not a person. It's a machine. But let's keep talking to this. It's Russell Westbrook's averaging a triple-double. And the one thing I have to complain about with Russell Westbrook is the amount of shots he takes versus how many he makes. And he's averaging 10.3 shots made, but he's averaging 23.7 taken a game. And that really irks me because we traded a heck of a power forward in Serge Ibaka for Victor Oladipo, who is a scorer.
Yeah, but he was slow those first few games, but Oladipo's starting to step it up now.
Yeah, exactly. But he's starting to step it up. And we also have Cantor, a center who can shoot threes.
They should play him a lot more, in my opinion.
But then we also have the physical Steven Adams, who's like the most gritty.
He's the energy.
Yeah, he is. He's the energy on the floor. He gets kicked in the nuts, and next thing you know, he's famous all over the world. Yeah. So, and
shout out Draymond.
God. But with LeBron, if you look at his stats up there, he's close to averaging a triple-double his entire career.
Oh, yeah.
27.1 points a game, 6.9 assists, and 7.2 rebounds a game. And then also, if you look at his steals, he's averaging a steal a game, which is, I think, comparable to the great Michael Jordan. But he needs a little bit of help with getting some more rings. But do y'all think, okay, since we discussed that, JD, do you think, I know what you're going to say, you're a huge LeBron lover, so he's not even close to LeBron, is that what you're going to say?
No, until he hits a shot in Steph Curry's face for the win in the finals. He ain't better than Kyrie.
That was Kyrie.
I'm kidding.
I don't see Kyrie averaging a freaking triple-double, JD.
I'm kidding.
All right.
But yes, in my opinion, other than LeBron, he is the most dominant player in the game. I know I love Kawhi, Garrett, but Kawhi just...
No, yeah.
I don't think Kawhi would be doing this if he was on the Thunder without Westbrook.
That's,
if you put Kawhi
like
in
I said,
Westbrook's
I think Kawhi's third. When you talk about overall scoring and defense, I think Kawhi... Well, in my opinion, when it comes to defense, I know Russell Westbrook is very underappreciated, like you said, when it comes to his defense. But Kawhi, he spent a lot of time this offseason with Kobe. And I don't know if you saw who said it. DeMarcus Cousins said that he saw a lot, and 2 or 3 other guys said they saw a lot of Kobe and Kawhi in these first 15 games. And that's a big deal because obviously Kobe was known for his scoring. Now Kobe was an 8-time All-NBA defensive player, but Russell right now, as of 15 games into the season, he is second best behind LeBron in my opinion. But Kawhi is a very close third in my opinion, because Kawhi, Tony Parker and Manu are very old now, and apparently at the beginning of the season, LaMarcus Aldridge was not happy, and so Powell has stepped in, but Powell's up there in age too, and Kawhi is carrying that team. I'm not sure what their record is right now, but
15-4.
The Spurs 15-4. Okay, so, hey, Kawhi's the leader of that team, and they're looking good, just like always. And I think
that's because they got the the Belichick of the NBA as their head
Oh
coach.
no, yeah, definitely. Greg Popovich is, in my opinion, the best NBA coach of all time.
Exactly,
Other
same
than
here.
other than Phil Jackson.
Yeah. Well, he didn't need a special offense to dominate.
Yeah, right. That trade, I don't know how Greg Popovich made that trade happen. George Hill straight up for Kawhi. I think it was straight up, wasn't it? I think there may have been a little cash and maybe a draft pick involved, but that's it. No other players were involved. Just one on. That was wild. That was really
And nobody saw that coming.
no.
Like,
No, because no one even considered. Everybody was like, "Oh, George Hill is the next great point guard. He's the next Mike Conley when it comes to defense and the way he can score." Look where they are in their careers right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Greg Popovich won that trade.
All right, so quick answer before we move on to the playoff predictions for the NBA. The way too early playoff predictions is. I know we're a bunch of young people, so a bunch of older people might get mad about this.
Millennials.
Yeah, millennials. Do you think right now, take rings out of the picture, is LeBron better than Michael Jordan?
No.
No. Okay.
Right now in his career, LeBron is not better than Michael Jordan was.
I'm talking about taking winning out of the picture and just how he plays the game.
Yes,
No, I don't-
because
I don't-
I believe so because of the way Jordan, he would just take over a game by scoring and playing defense.
That's all you do, and you
LeBron-
score and play defense.
LeBron spreads the ball around, scores, and plays defense. I believe LeBron is
I agree. He's a better passer.
He's a more all-around basketball player.
and the reason. Okay,
Do you see what I'm saying, Garrett? Like,
I understand.
that's what, if you take the rings out of the picture, yes.
Yeah, but those have a big part to do with it, and I understand it. It also has your team, and 2 years ago against the Warriors, it would have been a lot different for the Cavs if they would have had Kevin Love and Kyrie. I understand that those injuries really hurt them. But
Okay, here's another question. If you take Scottie Pippen away from Jordan, does he win all 6 of his
if you
finals?
take Dwayne Wade from LeBron, does he win?
No, I'm just saying, like,
I mean, you know what I mean.
that.
That you can't really ask that question because it's a hypothetical, and so my thing with that is that Jordan, when he played, he would get in the minds of the person. I mean, he would look you dead in the eye and shoot a three and drain it all day. LeBron doesn't
Shoot
do
it,
that.
you midget.
LeBron doesn't get in people's heads like that.
Muggsy Bogues story is the craziest
Yeah.
story I've ever
Shoot
seen.
it, you
that's
midget.
hilarious.
I like what you said there. I'm kind of on the fence, but I like what you said there. LeBron, he's friends with all the other superstars in the
Yeah.
league. And
That's not necessarily a
and-
bad thing, but at the same time, Michael Jordan had that same, and I think Kobe got that attitude from Michael Jordan. But like Kobe said, friends come and go, but banners hang forever.
Exactly.
And
But-
that's psycho. That's crazy to think like that.
Yes.
But I mean, hey, look what it did for him.
With that being said, I read the book that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird wrote together,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about Michael Jordan in his third or fourth year in the league. Whenever he played for the Olympic team, and they were in Barcelona, I think is where it was.
Yeah.
And when they were playing with the Dream Team, and they're saying how cocky he was. You know, it's only his fourth year in the league, and he's there with these legends,
Yeah.
with Johnson, Bird, Barkley.
This was 92,
the
right?
General.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the Admiral. And
Yeah.
he's sitting there talking crap to him about playing
Mm-hmm.
pool. And then when he beats him in pool, saying, Larry Bird, you're so old, there's no way you can keep up with me. Magic Johnson, you've getting a little... He called Magic
I thought
Johnson
it-
chubby.
I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was Magic and Bird were arguing with each other who's better, and
Yes,
Jordan said,
yes.
y'all both sit down till one of y'all can beat me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, LeBron, I don't think, you know, he sits there on a banana boat with Dwayne
Yeah.
Wade and Chris Paul, and they talk about that.
He's
he
not
had the killer
scary.
instinct
Yeah.
to dominate the games. But that's something LeBron doesn't have. But I'm taking the rings and the winning and all that aside, and I'm going to say, as like statistics wise, at least defense and passing, that really makes me think LeBron could.
Yeah.
Be
okay.
better.
That's something else I was going to say. I think at the end of LeBron's career,
I think he's still got a while to go.
I think he does too. I think he'll play until he's about 37, 38, so he still has a good 6 or 7 years left.
Yes.
But I think by the time LeBron is done and retired, depending on how many more rings he wins and depending on how dominant he is in those championship runs, I think that, yes, he could end up being better than Michael Jordan. Right now, no. Not right now.
So, with that being said, okay, what we were talking about with how he started so young, and you had someone like Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett, I'm not saying that he's just like LeBron, but he got drafted out of high school and played 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's because he took care of his body, and he was just a grinder. He would not quit. He loved the game of basketball.
Grit.
LeBron loves the game of basketball, but this guy, he's just not like everybody else. He's a freak athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people are saying he's getting old, no, he's not. His body, if you look at his body,
Like those doctors said, he has the body of like a 19-year-old right now.
yes, he does. And how he lost all that weight to take all the pressure off of his legs to where he won't drive into paint as much as he did when he was big, bulked up. And now he's doing the same things he did, but just smaller and faster, and it's helping his jump shot.
Oh, he's a
and so
genius.
He's got so much longer to play because he is a freak of nature. He is the Bo Jackson. I'm not saying he can play multiple sports. Probably could, but I'm just saying he is the type of athlete that comes once in a generation.
Could y'all imagine
Michael Jordan
him
was
playing,
not the athlete LeBron James is.
Could y'all imagine him playing wide receiver in the NFL right now?
Well, apparently him and JR want to go play football for Ohio State.
Yeah.
But, all right, so let's go ahead. Let's move on to our way too early playoff predictions in the NBA. So, James, who do you think is going to make the playoffs for the Eastern Conference?
We got to give all 8.
Well, you don't have to. Like, who do you think is going to be like a big factor in the Eastern Conference?
I think Cleveland.
And who do you think is going to be in the finals?
Cleveland, I think, is going to win the East.
Let's give our final 4. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's going to be either Boston and Chicago versus Cleveland, because I think Boston and Chicago are going to duke it out, and I think that will go 7 games, and the winner will go get beat by Cleveland in 6 in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, give your Eastern Conference and then go Western. Then
Western Conference, I think it's Spurs Warriors all day right now.
Spurs Warriors, okay.
I think the Spurs will take care of business against the Clippers, and I think we haven't seen a Warriors Spurs matchup in the Western Conference Finals yet.
Really?
Nope.
I guess we haven't. That's right.
And I think that there's just too much talent on Golden State this year for the Spurs to compete with. I think it will go 7, but I think it will be Cleveland. I think we'll have a 3 in a row with Cleveland and Golden State, and I have Cleveland winning in 6.
Well, of course you do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah, so for I'll go Eastern Conference first. My EFC would be, or ECF would be, Cleveland definitely. I guess I'd have to maybe go Boston just because of the Al Horford addition. I think that's really big for them. I think that Isaiah Thomas is playing out of his mind and will continue to play out of his mind for the rest of the year. I think the Pacers may have a good chance. Maybe Paul George really wants one. I know the Knicks aren't doing any. What are the Knicks? What's the Knicks record right now? Do we have that pulled up? Can we pull that up?
What?
The Knicks record.
Hey, pull up the Knicks record on there.
I think.
Oh, wait, I have it right here. What the heck? I'm sorry. The Knicks right now, they are.
They're 9-9.
Yeah, they're 9-9. Number 8 right now. They would be the 8 seed if it ended right now.
Look at this real quick. Yeah, Toronto again. Obviously, they're looking pretty good. Chicago. I think the Knicks will have a better second half of the season after the All-Star break if Derrick Rose stays healthy. I think Kristaps is playing incredible. I think that he's definitely the future of that franchise. Obviously, I don't know, man. I think Carmelo has to do something. He has to do something to ink his name as one of the all-time greats. I mean, yeah.
Well, all-time greatest scorer at least.
Right. And
when
obviously
he's playing with the best all-time scorer.
Yeah, and obviously what he did in college, he won a national championship. He's got 3 gold medals now. That's awesome. That's great. But you have 3 gold medals when you played for the best team in the world by far.
Yeah.
He didn't, he hasn't had the best team in the NBA, but I think the Knicks maybe make a run, but I guess I'll go Cleveland, Toronto again right now. Maybe Celtics. Okay. Western, yeah, I'd go Warriors. Let me see this. I like the Clippers. I know Houston's not looking too strong right now, but point guard James Harden is playing out of his mind. Those triple doubles are are insane too. I mean, he's putting up tons of them.
I guess say the same about the Thunder, but what else do they have?
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the Rockets are. What else do they have?
Yeah.
I mean, they have Harden and
Yeah.
Westbrook for the Thunder. But yeah, I guess I'd have to go. I actually like the Clippers in Golden State this year. That's my Western Conference final because I think DeAndre Jordan's playing pretty well this year, and I think Chris Paul is really getting tired of not making a run.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Paul deserves to go deep.
All right, so in the East, I have the Cavaliers going up against the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I like
I
Chicago.
think I like the idea of LeBron and D Wade going at it.
That, and if they can get a big man, if they still had Powell, I think that they would be easily the second best team in the East right now.
And then I also love the fact Jimmy Butler is still doing what he always does, even
Yeah.
though Dwayne Wade's there. He's still playing defense, still hustles, and he freaking scores points. So that's who I got in the East. I think that's going to be a very exciting matchup. And then in the West, easily Golden State with the trader Kevin Durant, and then I really like what I'm seeing with Los Angeles. And honestly,
You mean the Lakers, right?
Yeah, right. They beat the Warriors, but with the Clippers, right. I like what I've seen with the Clippers and with Doc Rivers.
Ooh,
With
you
Doc,
see him?
No, I'm bringing that in, and it was awful. It's a bad look for the team and him.
Yeah.
But it shows how much he cares and
Yeah,
how
he
much
does.
he knows this team is one of the best in the league, and he knows he can make it run. Even this early in the season, he wants a win.
They have
16 seconds left in the game. He's getting pissed at a call.
Yeah.
And basically
Well,
about
it
to
was-
charge after.
yeah.
It was a terrible,
Weren't
technical,
they playing Brooklyn?
Yes, they were playing.
But see, my thing is that they shouldn't have even been in that position in the first place.
Yeah,
Going into
I understand
overtime
that.
with the Nets, but
I like, DeAndre Jordan's getting better at free throws slowly.
Yeah,
he's playing great defense, and he's still a heck of a rebounder.
can you
Then
imagine
have
shooting a Nerf
Redick.
ball though? That's what it's like for him and Shaq.
Yeah.
Shooting a Nerf ball,
Exactly. And then you have JJ Redick, who is
lights out.
he's getting better as he gets older with his shooting.
That's what they call me out there, JJ Redick.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have Chris Paul leading the team, at the point position. Then you also have, Jamal Crawford, the best six man to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And they play great defense, and they can move the ball around. They get people open. So I think this year is going to be a very interesting playoff.
They have a team. I've always said this for the last 3 or 4 years. They have a team full of first and second round draft picks, and they have one of the better coaches in the NBA, and one that has how many did he took them to 2 straight, or no? 2 and 3 years with the Celtics, Doc Rivers did.
Yeah.
I mean, he can make that run.
And that's the team LeBron couldn't beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe beat them too, but Doc Rivers is definitely a good enough coach to get these guys, once they make it into the playoffs. Has Chris Paul made it past the first round now? Did they make it last year past the first round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they did.
so he finally
Yeah.
beat that. But I like the Clippers a lot too. I think that if they can just, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's holding them back. They've got the coach. They've got the talent.
It's the
in
West
Western
Coast. It's
Conference.
the Western
I
Conference.
know,
That's what it
man.
is.
I know. That's crazy.
But so yeah, I think the NBA did really well. I thought with the fact that everyone, with Kevin Durant going to the Warriors and LeBron James still having the team he had, and thinking that it was just going to be 2 teams that could compete. I think the Clippers did very well. They didn't really gain anybody, but they involved their game a lot to compete with the Warriors, and also with Chicago really getting players in, getting D Wade. The league is actually doing very well, adjusting to what the Warriors did. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's going to be very interesting. So real quick before we end this, just came out today. News out of the UFC: Conor McGregor got his boxing license for California. So
Bring it on, Floyd.
Is this a sign that we could see Floyd Mayweather beat the crap out of Conor McGregor?
Ooh, you're not a Conor fan?
I love Conor McGregor, but I do not think he would beat Floyd Mayweather. Someone who's been doing it for this long. Yes, he's old, but this guy knows boxing. He's been boxing since he was 8. This guy, I think, has a far superior knowledge of boxing. Than, yes, it's going to be easier
But
on
does
McGregor
he
to
have the
box.
grit Connor's got?
Oh my God! Yes, he lives a luxurious way. He doesn't have the grit, but the way he trained for that Pacquiao fight. Yes, I will say he fought a little scared against Pacquiao. I will say that, but to win box, it's not like the UFC.
Yeah, but he's a defensive fighter.
Exactly.
That's how he fights. I don't like him, but that's how he wins.
What is he, 49-0?
Yeah, 49.
To be 49-0, you can't just be strictly knock people out.
Yeah.
You have to learn to defend yourself.
He doesn't have knockout power.
And unlike the UFC, in boxing, you don't have to worry about leg kicks or anything. So and I think that's really going to be a favor for Floyd Mayweather if this happens.
True, but did you see in that even in the first fight with Conor and Nate Diaz, did you see how well Conor took those punches from Nate?
Yeah.
And Nate was much bigger than him. He was like 40 pounds heavier than him. I'm not saying anything walking around
against McGregor. I think he would be. He's a great boxer.
And I think if he stepped in the boxing ring, it would be a lot. I mean, I think he knows what he's up against, and I think what he's up against in Floyd and what he's up against in the style difference that he has to make up for. And I think that, man, I don't know. I don't want to say that Floyd would win, but if Floyd did win, I think that it would be a decision. I think that McGregor could stand in there, and I think that if McGregor could land a couple on the chin of Floyd, if he can, I think McGregor's hands are a lot faster than people give him credit for. Because
he's in the UFC. His hands have to be fast.
Right, but you see, in boxing, you see how fast people's hands are because that's all they're using. In the UFC, you don't really pay attention to one thing like you do in boxing. So I don't know. I think he can definitely take a punch. He can definitely give a punch.
It's very interesting to think about.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's crazy.
Before we go, what are your thoughts, Jay?
I really don't have any.
Conor
you looked at me very strange when I said Floyd would beat the crap out of.
No, I'm not very. I don't think I've ever even watched a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, you got to pay $100 for him
to stand about 3 hours inside of Buffalo Wild Wings in Oklahoma City, watch the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Yeah. Then plus the money I spent to eat food while standing up.
And then you stood there for 2 hours watching them
and then watched another 2-hour fight.
Other.
So I stood there for about 4.5 hours eating wings and talking to people I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's how boxing is nowadays.
I'm right there with you, Dylan. I love Conor. I love him to death.
I love the way he is.
The one thing I would give Conor credit on is, yes, he lost to Nate Diaz.
He came right back.
He changed the way he fought.
Yeah.
And that was the benefit for him. Honestly,
he didn't try to take him down.
I thought Nate was going to beat him the second time again because of how much reach advantage he had on Conor. But when it comes to Floyd, man, he is the master at ducking and dodging.
I mean, like he's a defensive fighter. That's just what he does.
I don't know if Conor can get trained right. He can land some punches. Like you said, he does have quick hands.
Yeah.
And with him just practicing and training on getting his hands faster and faster and faster, you could see Floyd maybe get knocked out. I'm not saying it's for sure, but
Floyd can take a hit too, but Floyd really doesn't get hit that often, so we don't really see it.
With how hard Conor trains, I could see him getting his hands really quick enough to land some hits on Floyd.
All right, well, what was it about? A couple months ago, this was a
hypothetical situation, and now we're like, wait,
and now
this really might happen.
It might happen because he's now legal to have a boxing match in California.
You know, I wish Floyd would have just learned a few kicks and fought him in the octagon.
That Floyd would get the crap.
Or they could just go real life WWE, no fake, no script, and just go all out. Hell in a Cell, or what's it called? Hell in a Cell.
Yes, Hell in a Cell.
With the chain link fence.
But it might be happening.
What's wrong with that?
If it's going to happen, that both sides have come out and said they each want $100 million for this fight.
Yeah, Floyd got $100 million for Pacquiao, not including all the endorsements.
Yes.
That's
so
wild,
basically,
man.
It will be able to happen. It's just finding the people who want to sponsor it and who are willing to put the money down to see this fight.
Who wouldn't want to sponsor that?
Okay, before we go, how much are the pay-per-views going to be for this? It's not going to be $60.
No, it'll be at least 100, 150.
No, probably. I'm guaranteeing you right now it'd be 200.
I mean, I think it'd be between 100 and 200. I don't think it'd go over 200. But
so
the thing is,
if you want to watch this fight, you better
save some money.
I don't think the big boxing promoters would really pay that much because they're going to go into it thinking Conor has no chance. I don't think all those guys that would put up money for Pacquiao versus Floyd would put up money for Conor versus Floyd, because they're just going to look at it like, why is Conor even wasting his time? He's about to get whooped. Yeah. And so I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I would love for it to. I would love to see Conor knock Floyd out. I would love that. I'd love to see him throw one to the gut and break all his ribs, but I don't like Floyd.
So as the Sports Talk with Dylan Marsh podcast gets very violent, we're going to go ahead and log off. Jay, as always, thanks for coming. Garrett, really enjoyed it, man. I will
thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all.
As always, everyone watching, thank you for joining us, and God bless.